Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Core Racing Network. Tonight's the 5th round of the CSRL Season 7 GT3 Series is going to be heading to Mount Panorama, also known as Bathurst. Beautiful, beautiful track, tons of scenery. It's amazing if you could just, take a car around this place at, 50 miles an hour, just to kind of cruise around here and see the sights. It's an absolute marvel of a track. These guys won't be able to do that. They won't be able to go around 50 miles an hour. I guess they could. They're not going to make any kind of headway when it comes to points or making any positions, though, as this track is, as we mentioned before, kind of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of track. Half the track is just, some long straightaways, some 90-degree turns, a little less turn, but the other half of the track is absolutely treacherous. It is a cattle chute in most places. You don't feel safe going through with one car, let alone two cars. So it is very, very sketchy in the mountain section, as it's known as. Carl Hamwork in the booth here tonight with Joe Sullivan. Joe, I know you've taken some laps out there, and it sounds like you're already scared of it a little bit.
Most definitely scared. Like you said, it's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Getting up to the mountain, not so bad, but then, like you said, as you're going through these S's, the speed that you have to carry through here, and to be able to keep it off the walls is just unbelievable, the way these guys can do it, and it's hard. The first right-hander for me is really hard, because once you get through there, if you can get through there clean, because if you mess that up, then you just messed up the whole rest of it. So it's going to be a battle here tonight, and I'm excited to see what these guys can do. Because, when you're going up to the mountain and you get there, you're just trying to survive and then try to make your passes elsewhere, because it's survival up through there.
We'll bring in our pre-race interview guys here, and they are going to be Timothy Ponzi and Dan Herrera. We'll talk to those guys, and then we'll get a little bit more deeper into the track and kind of show you the key points that you want to be looking at, which is just about everywhere in the mountain. But we'll go ahead and start off with Dan Herrera. We'll bring him in right now. And let's see, there we go. So driver of the 404, Dan Herrera. Joe, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Hey there, Dan, you got a copy?
Hey, firm. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing great. We're ready to see what you guys can do here at the mountain. How are you feeling today?
Nervous. And regarding what we're going to do tonight is a mess going up the hill. Look out on lap 1 for someone to spin going up the hill and make a roadblock. So that's going to happen. I'm just hoping it's not me.
Yeah, what's the toughest part of the track here for you? Is it, up through the mountain, through the S's, or where is it for you?
100% going up the hill. The thing is that the track is fun and it's fun, and usually after lap 1, everyone does okay, and even if you hit the wall and you bounce a little bit, you can kind of go through. My biggest worry is that if some of the faster guys doesn't put in a good quality lap, or something happens to them and they're coming from the back, I know some people tend to be a little bit aggressive, and the hill going up or down is not the right place to pass. If you're faster, be patient and just send it after the back stretch or something like that.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. I think surviving through the mountain and then trying to find somewhere else to make your passes is going to be key here tonight for a lot of you guys, and see who can stay out of trouble and not avoid that roadblock, as you said. It's easier here in 4th and points. This race could really, really help you here tonight, or it could really, really hurt you in the championship standings.
Yeah, I think we are pretty close, all the way from I think 3rd to 6th or 7th. So I'm gonna have some high hopes on this one, but it's all going to depend on what happens on that first lap. I was talking to my teammates also regarding cold tires, and the cars are feeling a little bit slippery more than usual on that first lap with cold tires. So that's going to be a thing. We've been playing with our brake pads on that first lap in order to ensure we can make it through that lap before we can start pushing. And I know some people are going to start pushing from the green. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, see, like you said, if somebody's fast and didn't get a good lap in qualifying, and they're going to be trying to get through as fast as they can, because if you get out in front of everybody, the less problems you have to worry about. You know, if somebody does get into the wall, and next thing you know, there's a roadblock and all that stuff. So
another thing is tire wear. I've been doing laps and noticed that the rear is starting to go, so you're gonna have to play again with your brake pads a little bit to ensure that your car is balanced as the race goes on, because I was getting a little bit loose on some of the fastest turns going up the hill, those off-camber ones where you have to just lift a little bit. So that's going to be a thing, and I don't know if everyone plays with their brake pads as much as I do.
So just give me one little tip on how to get to the S's. What would be the main thing to get to the S's here on the mountain?
All the way there, just keep the car balanced and not upset. Don't brake too hard, don't get on the gas too hard. Let the car settle down. The car wants to go down and go up on its own. You get in trouble when you try to force things with the car.
Okay, yeah, just try not to fight it. You know,
yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. All right, so anybody you want to give a shout out to on that 404 here?
Obviously, Jim Herrick, the team owner for 404 or 4DRacewear.com, and 4DRacewear.com for letting me wear their paint and their hat on and their gloves and the shoes, all good stuff that you want to use for your sim racing. It's get it there, 4DRacewear.com.
All right, well, we've talked to you in a post-race interview before, so maybe we'll talk to you here again tonight. Good luck out there.
I don't think so. I'm going to die.
That's the spirit.
Well, best of luck to you.
See you guys.
All right.
That is driver of the 404 here tonight, Dan Morera. Now bring in our other interview here, and that is going to be the driver of the 46, Tim Ponzi. And Tim, you had a great start to the season. Can't really get any better. You show up with these guys and you break out, get the win in the opening round, but missed a race here or there, and just kind of haven't had the same speed. And we had some other guys coming to the series. Obviously, James Scioli has dominated the 2 races that he was in here, but you know, either way, it's not a bad showing. You know, you join a new group of guys, and you kind of got to feel it out. It kind of put a stamp on that first one, but how do you feel the season's gone for you so far?
Well, to be honest with you, I had a bad race at Road Atlanta, and then just a few things. You know, life happens. Missed a couple of races. So kind of behind the 8 ball. I don't know if I got a shot at the championship this year, but it's fun to get out here and run with these guys, and especially at Bathurst with the 12-hour coming up this weekend. Good practice. Like I said, a good group of guys. So
you're sitting kind of midway in the standings right now, at least in practice. Do you have a goal that you're trying to set here? Is it just survive? I mean, that certainly is a goal here for a lot of races, I'm sure, here tonight.
Yeah, I've been in a few of these at Bathurst, and they tend to pile up on the mountain. As long as you're not close enough to where you get involved and you can squeak through, as long as they don't form a roadblock, you're usually pretty good. So we'll see what happens. It should be interesting. It always is.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be a fun track if you understand it and you can get through that first lap. That's really the scariest and the sketchiest for sure. Next week we got Circuit of the Americas. Not exactly that much easier of a track. You don't have a mountain section, but you do have S's there as well. Which one are you more fearful of? Or is the answer just yes?
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of, like I said, I like Bathurst. It's a fun track. It's a challenging track. I think the more challenging, the more I like them. So, yeah, kind of looking forward to getting this one going. All
right, well, sounds good. We'll see if you can replicate the start of the season here and kind of get back into form here a little bit. But before we get you out of here, anybody you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Thanks to you guys for broadcasting this. Enjoyed the livery I got. Running some core stuff for the 12 hours of Bathurst, and hopefully we'll be talking to you at the end.
All right, sounds like a plan. Well, good luck out there, and yeah, maybe we'll talk to you in the top 3.
All right, yeah, go on.
That is the driver of the 46 here, Tim Ponzi. Kind of go around the track here and just show you some of the corners, and I mean, I think it's apt that the first corner starts you out, you know, right where you kind of feel like you're going to be the entire night. Name of it is Hell Corner. It's not really, it's certainly not the most difficult corner on the track, but it's one where it sets you up for a long drive to kind of prepare yourself and maybe shake the cobwebs off a little bit before you get to the mountain. But you need to carry a lot of speed out of here, and there's a lot of different ways to get this corner wrong and lose tenths or even a full second by the time you're done with the straightaway. So very important corner here is Hell Corner. This is at the end of the straightaway right before you get into the mountain section, and this is a Quarry Bend right here. Again, another one where you don't necessarily look to have a lot of speed going out. It's not one where you're really focusing on the exit. You're just kind of focusing on keeping as much speed and power through the corner as much as possible, which heads you up into the section right here that was the bane of my existence for a long time, and this is known as the cutting. It's just a little kink of a corner to the left, but pretty much right as you're getting into the corner, you're already braking for a tight banked corner right here that heads you up into the mountain. And a lot of times when you get on the brakes, you get them on them just a little bit wrong, or a little bit too much wheel when you're in the brakes, and you're going to be sliding sideways going into the corner right here, and most likely going into the wall. As you can see, very, very tight through here. Full speed going up through the mountain here and all the way up until you get to the top, and this is where it gets sketchy, because you are clipping as close as you can to all the walls, maybe rolling off the gas just a little bit, but for the most part you're trying to get up to top gear all the way up through the mountain, and you see it never gets any wider. It is still tight. You see how close these guys come to the walls as they come up and over here. It is just absolute white knuckling all the way through here, and that's just by yourself. Now you throw 20, 30 other cars out there around you, it's scary to say the least. You finally get up here, and this is Skyline at the very top right here, and it heads you into probably one of the most scary sections, and that is the S's. And you see how fast these guys come down and through here, and it's just a roller coaster going back and forth, back and forth. And you carry, as I was saying to Joe before we started the broadcast here, you carry more speed in here than you really want to, and there's a lot of time to be gained or lost going right through here. And you see how fast some of the guys are coming through here as compared to some of the others, and heads you into what's known as the Dipper. And you see it right here. It's kind of the last little ending here to the S's, and it's really kind of banked on the inside there. You want to take the inside so you can get a straight shot out of there. See how much the cars kind of drop down in through there. Head you down into another section, Forest Elbow, which is the other corner that it's almost the exact opposite corner of the track as Hell Corner, and it's just as important. You see it on the bottom left of the track map right there. Very, very important to get a good rotation through this corner, get all the speed down as possible, because it takes you into the longest section of the track down to Conrad Straight. And you see it all the way on the left-hand side of your screen behind the standings right there. That is Forest Elbow. Actually, even a little bit before that right there, that's the little kink coming out of Forest Elbow. This long straightaway all the way down through the Conrad Straight, and then at the Chase, this is all full speed, and you're trying to grab as much speed as possible. A little kink to the right, still full speed all the way until the braking zone to head into the S turn here before the end of the lap takes you into Murray's Corner right here, and completing a lap. And I mean, if you can do all that, and you can do all that in about 2 minutes and 4 seconds, you'll be towards the top of the pack. But to do that for 40 minutes straight without any kind of incidents, good luck to you. That's all I can say.
That's a whole nother ball game there, Carl. I mean, geez, that's I mean, like we said, they're gonna have a problem getting up to that mountain, and then just hoping they can avoid any kind of issue, not only from themselves, but if somebody does have an issue, avoiding that and staying clean and trying to stay out front. I mean, qualifying is going to be super important here. I mean, you obviously want to be up front here.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not a track where you can just mail in qualifying, because you can find time to get back up in there. But here, I think you want to be up front from the get-go, and then if there's chaos, let it happen behind you.
Yeah, I
Because
mean, is
even
there
to say you want to start in the
opportunities?
back, you got to stop almost, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, is there passing opportunities? Absolutely. Once you get off the mountain and you come down the long straightaways, you have the S-turn that you can outbrake somebody into. You have Murray's Corner you can outbrake somebody into. Even Hell Corner and Quarry. You can make passes on this track. There's going to be drafting. It's not going to be as much as you want it to be, but there will be drafting. You can make passes, but for that first lap, you want to be up as high in the order as possible because, as Dan said, I mean, you know, somebody makes a mistake going up to the mountain. You see, you can fit 2 cars wide, but once one of those cars spins sideways, they're Austin powered, and they're going to have to pull to one side of the track, let everybody by, and then try and back up and get out there and get around. And hopefully, you're not tangled up with that car to begin with. But I mean, it's going to be a traffic jam trying to get around that car, and that's where it gets a little hairy and a little sketchy. But I mean, I've seen races do the opposite. I've seen them, you know, everybody actually have a head on their shoulders and make it through the first couple laps, kind of spread out a little bit, and then work their way through the race. But it just takes one person, you know, towards the front of the field, towards the middle of the field, turning sideways, going up somewhere in the mountain, and it can happen right there in the cutting. Like I mentioned, you know, you get a little bit funky on the brakes, or you know, have a little bit too much wheel in it when you're getting on the brakes right there in the cutting. You can spin it sideways very easily and get into the wall and be kind of stuck completely sideways. And a lot of the sections going up through the mountain, because there's walls on both sides, it's blind. I mean, you don't see anything until you're coming around there. You'll get the little yellow flag from iRacing letting you know there's a caution, but you won't know how much of a caution is. Is it somebody that's just slowed down, or is it somebody that is stopped sideways?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a big difference between a car sideways and the car just up against the wall, because you have to make I mean, you're already going as fast as you can, so you're going to have to make a split decision and hopefully hits the right one, and you're not, you know, collected in some kind of chaos. But where are these guys going to be looking to pass? Like, what's the hot spot to get passes done?
Well, as I mentioned, I mean, you're going to have some of the long straights, and you're going to have the opportunities going into the final S-turn for sure. Is going to be a great spot to make a pass. If you get a good exit out of Murray Corner, the last corner, you can possibly make a little dive move to the inside here into Hell Corner into turn number 1. But I would say a lot of guys are going to try and make a pass right here into Quarry Bend. This is coming up. This is turn number 2 here before you head up to the mountain. You're going to want to get by whoever you need to get by, whether it's a car for position, whether it's a lap car, what have you. You want to get around them here, because if you don't by this time, you're probably waiting literally half the track, because you're not going to be making any passes going up through the mountain unless somebody is slow and they're nice enough to pull off to the side and let you go around. You're pretty much stuck single file going all through the mountain until you get out of Forest Elbow and head down the Conrad Straight again.
Which isn't probably too bad if you got to follow somebody, because I mean, it's as long as they're keeping up some kind of pace. But I mean, you don't want them to have a mistake either, so there is probably going to be a lot of aggressive passing right here, like you said, just to avoid any of that and stay clean. Well,
that's kind of the biggest thing is if you find yourself, if you make a mistake, you know, you're one of the top guys, you make a mistake in the first couple laps and you fall back in the field a little bit, you obviously have the speed to be up front. But if you have to pass people now and they are slower than you, you're going to feel like you're just losing hand over fist when it comes to time going through the mountain section. And you know, depending on who you're behind, you could legit lose 2 seconds by the time you're done with the mountain section. And you know, you and I both know how much 2 seconds means on a racetrack, whether it's on oval or road. That's a huge amount, and it's hard to gain that back just, you know, by having a little bit better speed than somebody else. So if anybody is holding you up, you're going to want to get by them before you get to the mountain. But you can't just make an aggressive pass either. You can't just, you know, throw it in there, because you could throw your whole race away.
Yeah. So I put some laps in here, and I got to about 2:10. But like I said, I've had one race here before, and definitely under 50 laps of totalness here, but 2:10 is about as low as I got. But that was with the Porsche, which is only the GT3 car that I have. But it doesn't seem like there's so many Porsches out here tonight. Well, Dan's in one.
Yeah, we'll hop on board with Dan here and take you guys up through the mountain and show you how difficult and tight it is and how much full speed you're taking going through the cutting here. You see a really banked right here. You want to get to the inside. The car's going to want to get a little floaty in the rear, getting out of the cutting. And then again, it's full speed. Letting it breathe a little bit if you have to, just to keep the car under control. Little breather right here, and then your full speed until right about here. It's really hard to kind of pick out the inside there. You get on that curve the wrong way, and you see that's exactly what happens. And that's the other spot that I did not mention. You catch that curve the wrong way. It's almost like we go back to Suzuka. You go back to the 130R. It's a curve that you don't want to really touch because it's going to throw you for a loop one way or another. But we'll see Dan coming down here, and this right here is Forest Elbow. You want to get to the inside and get as much power down to head you down the straightaway. But yeah, I mean, you can see how quickly a decent lap can just get thrown away right there. We'll see if
that
Randy
one first
Irons
right-hander up through there was the problem I was having with going through the S's, and that's like the start of it. So like, yeah, once you get going and you make one little mistake at the beginning, and it just messes up the rest of it. So you try to battle back and get something kind of going.
Yeah, it's
so tight.
A risk-reward track. Man. I mean, there isn't really much more of a track. I mean, I guess maybe you could throw a Nürburgring in there, but I feel like this is more challenging going through the mountain than Nürburgring can be. Nürburgring is just long, and you just kind of have to get muscle memory for that one. Here you can have muscle memory and just one little mistake, and you're done. And you see right here, Brandon Powell just keeps it a little bit slower, keeps it inside there, stays off the curb, but it's just, this track comes at you left and right, literally, all the way through the mountain. And then, again, one of the most difficult corners, not necessarily on skill, but hitting the same every time right here, Forest Elbow. You got to get the power down as much as possible and as quick as possible, because this leads you down the very, very long straightaway. And we'll bring up the speed here if I can find it real quick. Yeah,
that left-hander there it's just very deceiving, because you don't think it's going to be very long, but it is, and you can't push it too early, because then you get too wide. But you also need to try to get the car to rotate so that you can get that run down that long straightaway, so you can carry enough speed down through there and lower your lap time.
See if I can find somebody else coming down through the final section, of course, Brandon Powell. And we're catching all these guys right at the last second. There's Marco Chacon trying to put in a time as we were down to about a minute left here in qualifying.
Marco Chacon, your points leader. Ooh, if he can't put a lap in here, it's going to be a rough start for Marco from the back.
And puts it up there. It's like in seventh place right now.
Okay, well,
so certainly better than nothing, but
better than 17th is where he was. Yeah, I think he'll like that starting position a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon Powell, unfortunately, it looks like back here in 15th, as these guys are just about finishing up. And we talked about it. Let's show the points and see exactly where everybody is here, as we have Marco Chacon leading the pro points over Frank Bassano, Peter Moeller in third. But you see the pro standings. We've got 2 races left. We got tonight and we got Coda to crown a champion in both of these. And pro standings can't really get much closer. I mean, you only got 20 points separating all the way down to Skylar Vickroy down there in, what is that, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th place. I mean, that's pretty unbelievable, and it just takes one little mistake by these guys at the top to kind of throw it away. And unfortunately, we got a couple guys towards the top that are missing here tonight, but we got our main players out the way it looks. We got Marco Chacon in the field, Frank Bassano, Peter Moeller is here as well. Demerara, obviously, we talked about him. But these guys are getting ready to go to the grid here for the race. Take a look real quick at the amateur standings, and you got Garrett Pittman on top there, and he's been having a really good season. Brandon Potts just kind of consistently running these races, and it finds him in second place right now. John Seamer in third. So let's head down to the track. We'll show you what the starting order is going to be for tonight, and it is going to be, come on, there we go. Top of the boards here is going to be James Scioli again. See if he can duplicate and go 3 for 3 for the races that he showed up to. The 203.871, Craig Jancic, Joseph Corns, Tim Ponzi, Siviani Madrigal, your top 5. And you got Pisano, Chacon, Carrillo, Brown, Moeller, your top 10. Eismer, Morera, Duran, Dutton, Powell, DeLima, and Price is going to be your pro field. In the AM class, it is going to be John Seamer at the top with a 205.685. Randy Ayers, Christian Torres, Garrett Pittman, your points leader, in 4th. Jason Potts in 5th. Jay Little, Brandon Potts, Ian Wilson, Corey Laperouse, Jim Herrick, your top 10. And it looks like that is, we got Brad Farron there in 11th as well. But these guys are rounding the final corner. We're getting ready to start the race here. And you see it right there. Marnie is ready to go. I hope you guys are as well. Hit that like and subscribe, because we're about to go racing here at the mountain.
Let's see how this first lap goes. It's going to be interesting. It's been last week was an interesting 3 wide into turn 1. Looks like we're all good here, so
everybody so
we got
far
to the first
making
turn
through. You see the mad dash.
Kind of single filed a little bit here. Back to about 7th or 8th there. And we get to the fun part.
Just a great sound, just listen to these cars rip by some of these cameras.
I was just hearing, I say I wanted to talk, but I just was just listening. I was like, I'm gonna let everybody else enjoy that too. That is just, I mean, if that don't stand your hair up, check your pulse.
These guys making it the first time down through the S's, and so far so good for the field. See how close these guys get to the inside there and the dipper. Front of the field already heading down Conrad straight. You see how fast these guys are heading down there.
Look, Craig's out front, huh?
Yep, Craig Jancic has taken the lead over James Scioli here in the beginning. Heading now down into the chase. And it will be Craig Jancic. I believe this is the first time all season that we've seen last season's points leader, Craig Jancic, at the front of the field. But he is going to lead lap number 1 here. And I was about to say everybody made it through lap 1 without any incidents. Brad Farron had to just throw it off just a little bit. Just a little walk through the grass, little grass cutting. Nothing too major, but I tell you what, for the first lap right there, if that's the only incident, that's a pretty good start to the race for these guys.
Yeah, I think they, it's like what, I always go back to what you say. Like the tough tracks seem to put on good races because it's these guys. Not necessarily tiptoe around them, but you have to respect the track. You can't just. I mean, even the most confident driver, you still have to respect this track and be able to just not just throw it around, dive bomb, do this and that, and think you can, beat the track too. So it's always wild to me, like how that happens.
It's those tracks that you're so confident, you're overconfident, and when you're overconfident, that's when the mistakes come into play, because you just try and throw it just a little bit too hard. And and that's a wrap, whether you do it by yourself or whether you get other cars involved. But so far, so good for these guys as they're coming down the straight one more time, and it is Jancic in the lead, Scioli in second, Ponzi in third, Madrigal, Carnes, your top five. As we take a look at the pass here that Madrigal made coming out of Forest Elbow and down the straight here. This was a pass for fourth place. Then we take a look at your AM class, and Randy Ayers leading the way right now in the 66 machine, but he's got John Seamer right behind him. Well, actually, Dan Marrero right behind him, but John Seamer right behind him. And then you got a couple cars back, so you get to Christian Ortiz Torres in third, Garrett Pittman in fourth, and Jason Potts in fifth. But again, a good job by these guys. Looks like, actually, speaking of Jason Potts, he had a little bit of incident here through the chase as well, and just doing a little grass cutting. But again, no harm, no foul, and it keeps that 57 Ray-Ban Ferrari back on the track.
He was watching Brian earlier and just wanted to make sure that line was still good.
It looks fun. You know, it looks fun. It's maybe not the fastest, but you know, sometimes you just gotta cool the tires down a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. Nothing too crazy.
Oh, big incident.
Oh, that's Joseph Carnes.
And that is, yeah, Joseph Carnes. Big impact. We'll take a look at that one more time here.
You just lose a fender?
Rips.
That's a lot more than that.
Well, ripped the entire back end off, and iRacing reeled it back in, but it looks like it did actually do enough damage. He ends up towing it back to pit lane.
Oh, man.
It scares me when those guys get up on that curb right there at the top of the skyline.
Man, going through those S's is going to be... Holy moly.
Hold your
It's going
breath.
to be a treat. Yeah, it's going to be a treat for the next 35 minutes now. Oh, my goodness.
Seamer looking for a way around Marrero to try and get in the battle here with Randy Ayers, but hasn't happened just yet. Take a look back up at the front of the field. Jancic running a sub 204 lap, that last lap, a 203.93. It's giving him a 0.8 second lead, and this is another thing too, that you can have any car can really work here, because you're going to need a car that has speed to get down straightaways, but you need a car that's nimble to get through the mountain. You want one that's good in the slipstream to keep you up with the guy that's in front of you. I mean, it's pretty much anything and everything can work here. It's just really what you're comfortable with that you can make a lap in, essentially. But the top two guys running 2:03s there that last lap, as Scioli just a little bit slower than Jancic, and he's losing just a little bit of time coming down to the second corner here down at Ferrari. And it's out to about a second lead here for Jancic in the Pro Class. Second lead for Ayers in the AM Class, but he's got Dan Marrero in between him and Seamer. So we'll see if Seamer can make that pass and start to run down Ayers. But so far, so good for these guys. I mean, really, just the incident there with Carnes, and kind of self-inflicted. It looked like he just got a little bit close to that wall, right where the wall kind of ends at that spot, and it ripped off the entire back end of the car. iRacing, you know, Fisher pulled it back on for him, but obviously it wasn't handling as well, so he towed it back to the pits.
Yeah, and Craig has a good chance here tonight. I know he's your last season's champion, and he's not out of it yet, even though, I mean, he started the season off pretty well. He was fast there and had a mistake, but he's got a chance here to, if he can come over with the podium here tonight, and some of these other guys, I mean, your points leader Marco Cicone's back there in 8th, so he's got a chance to make some points up on him and maybe have something to say about the championship here this season.
Taking a look back here at 6th place, this is Sean Brown trying to run down Frank Pisano for a top 5 position. That's far behind is Michael Carrillo as well. Over in the AM class, you have Garrett Pittman, your points leader for the AM class, trying to catch up to Ortiz Torres here in 3rd place. So still got some battles here.
Most of the year, he's in a different car here tonight.
Yeah, and it hasn't gotten him a pole, and it hasn't gotten him a chance to just get out there and kind of cruise. So May not have been the right choice here.
Maybe he was just thinking something a little more comfortable with, you know, that he can, because I'm sure, I mean, he's got a pretty good lead on the points in the M class, so he's just looking probably here to finish, you know. Ooh, Brian Perrin, more problems.
Yeah, and he is going to end up towing it back to the pits after that incident right there. You see a crab walking.
You know, I had a 76 Nova that used to do that pretty bad. Those good old unibody cars back in the day.
Side-by-side battle now as Pittman looks to the inside here for third place in the M class. And he's going to have the line going into Ferrari, and he will indeed make that pass right behind. Potts trying to capitalize as well. Actually, it is not Potts, that is Brennan DeLima and the Pro class trying to get around these guys as well.
And like I said before the race, that's going to be the hot spot to get your passes done, and then Pittman utilized that and got around him there, and maybe he's not a sandbagging. Maybe he's just letting it settle, and then now he's going trying to get some breathing room around everybody.
Well, he could have just needed to kind of find the car a little bit and try and figure out what this car needs to do compared to the other one that he's been running all season.
Yeah, Dan was saying something about, everybody having some issues with the cold tires, so maybe he just didn't feel too comfortable with it, on the cold tires, but once he gets a little bit of heat into him, he's going to be all right, and then that's the time for him to, try to put his head down and then put some good laps down and get up there to the top three.
Just want to give a shout out while we are waiting here to our sponsor here for the series, and that being 4D Racewear and Jim Herrick, the owner there, helping these guys out, and it's again a sponsor for a series is absolutely amazing, and it's something that it can be hard to find, but you have the right people in place, and obviously Jim out here right now in 9th place in the M class. Just trying to put in some laps here the way it looks. I haven't seen him towards the front too much. Haven't really had a chance to interview him after the race. We did get to talk to him before one of the races to talk about 4D Racewear. But again, 4D Racewear are the makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 4D sim racing shoes, custom engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, while still providing the comfort needed for those double and triple stints. Visit 4dracewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products, including the original racing gloves for your feet.
Yeah, we talked about, if you have the ability to get a broadcast of your league, I definitely encourage you to do so, just for it just opens up so many doors, so many possibilities. You can go back and watch the race, review the race, just reach new people. There's just so much good comes out of it, in my opinion. It's fun to do for us, obviously, and you get to watch racing, but then it's out there, and you can go and watch it whenever, it's not, you have to log on to, save it on your replay or whatever and go back and watch it, but it's fun.
It's amazing how often drivers go back and rewatch their races just to relive the moments of the race. Sean Brown tries to make a pass on Bassano, but unfortunately goes a little bit too deep there in the chase and gives the spot back up. Grillo looked to try and get around, but he's going to fall back in line for the time being. But yeah, it's something that every driver in your league certainly appreciates, whether they want to go back and watch a race, whether it's showing it to family and friends and things like that. It's certainly a great thing to have, and it's sometimes not as accessible to some leagues, but again, that's where sponsorship comes into play, and can't thank Jim Herrick enough for helping these guys out with the sponsorship for the series here. And from the way it sounds, Joe, these guys are already ramping up and getting ready for next season, as well as Season 8 is going to be around the corner, going to start a couple weeks after this season ends. They're going to kind of follow the iRacing official schedule but it looks like it's going to be a 10-race season for them, and unless things don't work out, CRN will be on board for the broadcast once again. So hopefully you enjoy us out there broadcasting right now, because you're hearing a lot more of us come season 8, and it's been a pleasure so far partnering up with CSRL for the broadcast here. It's been some great racing all the way through the entire season so far. All 4 races. This race here, number 5, and I don't expect race number 6 to be a disappointment either, as they've been putting out good fields, good racing in both classes. And I know I've had a blast, and for a non-road racer like you, Joe, it sounds like you've been having fun too.
Oh yeah, it's been a blast. I mean, these guys have been putting on a show every single week. I mean, there's been some kind of storyline for each race, you know, no matter what it be, like the 30th minute there in the first race, or the turn 1 episode, or whatever it is. There's some, and these races just go by so fast. I mean, the 2 races ago, I felt like we started and then we were done. I mean, it was just, there was so much going on, so much to talk about, and such good racing going on that it just 40 minutes went by like it was nothing. And credit to these guys for putting on that show. I mean, we're here because of them, and oh, we got problems. Oh boy.
Sean Brown looked like he went maybe a little bit too deep there, and unfortunately collected Pisano as well, and looks like Brown lost his rear spoiler, so that is not going to be fun going through the mountain. We'll take a look at that incident one more time here.
That looked a little weird, actually.
It just kind of seemed like maybe under braking. Broke a little bit later.
Oh, yeah,
and
there
a little
it is.
bit less than Frank Pisano gets into the back of the 38.
Oh.
Brown is going to spin around, and you see right there on the top of your screen, Pisano goes around as well, and I think Laperouse was caught in the mix as well.
He was carrying a little bit extra speed.
And then looks like another incident here. This one is from our man that we just talked about, Jim Herrick, here in 40 Racewear. Now, that might have been the crash right there. Sometimes very close right there. It looked like a little bit of a scrape right there.
Ooh.
But
all in all, you get off a little bit, and it just throws the rest of it out of whack, and you're scrambling at that point, trying to. Oh, whoa! That's something you don't want to see.
Yep.
That's the crash.
That would be why there. And that
I guess you got into a little bit.
So that was Corey Laperouse. I was gonna say I didn't see Laperouse towards the guys we were just watching there. So this was what happened here to Corey as he came down through the S's and into the dipper. Just gets a little bit sideways there, and unfortunately you're kind of stuck right there. Luckily he slammed on the brakes right there without backing into Herrick, but again you're just kind of Austin powered, and there's not much you can do. And you're watching the relative and hoping that nobody comes, but you see he backs into the wall hard because you want to get it out of the way of Brian Farron right there. Just a tough situation.
Just a little bit, but nothing too bad.
Another incident here at the top of the mountain. This is Ian Wilson, and pointed the wrong way here. But a good job spinning it around and getting back going right before the field comes by, and does a good job looking at the relative, looking at the mirrors, letting the faster cars go by before he rejoins, and that's good sportsmanship. I mean, Ian Wilson could have just slammed on the gas right there and cut out there and tried to save a position and save some time, but he did the right thing. He waited up and then got back out there.
That's what I have the Porsche, and I also put some laps in, and that's what I was having a problem with, is it's like really loose in certain spots of these S's. Oh boy.
And Corey not exactly agreeing with the cutting right now, and yeah, the rear spoiler being missing doesn't help at all. Certainly some action here, and the mountain biting back a little bit to start this thing, but take a look at the overall lead, because it is no longer second. James Scioli has run down Craig Jancic. It is down to about a third of a second as these guys head into the chase, and they got lappers coming back on the track right in front of him. But he's going to stay off to the left. A good job right there. And he's going to make that left-hand turn into pit lane. Hopefully to get some repairs and take his pit stop for the race. But 0.2 of a second, well, 0.3 of a second separating first and second right now in the Pro class. Over in the M class, René Ayers still leads, but only by 0.75 of a second, as it just seems like Seamer cannot get to the back of Ayers without another car in between. As right now he's got Mr. Jim Dutton in between them right now. He's the meat in the AM class first and second sandwich right now. But certainly a good battle right here at the front as we near the halfway mark already here in round number 4. I'm sorry, round number 5.
Now, if you're Craig here, I mean, is this maybe I mean, we're halfway, so he can kind of pit whenever. Now that James is kind of running down, is this maybe you pit now, or you just see what happens here in the next couple of laps?
I mean,
I think good strategy.
Unfortunately, I think Craig is in a tough spot here. He would have been better off if he still had a bit of a lead and was able to pit, you know, maybe on lap 8 or so. But now that Scioli has caught him, it's going to be one of two things. Either he comes into pit first and hopes that the short pit by him is enough to get him back out there in front once Scioli comes back out. If not, if Scioli comes in first, he can have the short pit and get back out there and you know, take the lead on Jancic once he comes in the pit. So it's a tough situation here. I think if I'm Jancic, though, if I had to make a choice, I want to come in before Scioli. I want to, you know, take any kind of advantage from short pitting away from Scioli and hopefully get out there in some clean air and put in some good laps, because obviously if Jancic comes in, Scioli is going to have clean air. He's going to have nobody in front of him, and he's going to be able to run as quick as he can. And really, I mean, you take a look at the track map. There's no lap cars in the immediate future until you get up to the 20 out of Farron, who is already halfway down to Quarry Corner here.
Yeah, and really, I guess if Craig, if either one of them pit and they come out, they're going to be behind some of these guys or in the middle. You know, I mean, who knows where they come out here, but I mean, there's kind of an opening there a little bit on the track, as you can see the track map. But also, like, how much of it's like time difference? Like, I know everybody tries to, you want the least amount of fuel in it as possible, so you're lighter, faster, or whatever. How much time does that really save you?
I mean, I don't try and get too crazy with it, because it's tough with the time race here, because you never know. If you take, you know, say your fuel calculator is predicting you're going to go to lap 20, so you take enough fuel to get you to lap 20, all of a sudden the pace in that second half is maybe just a little bit faster, and it ends up being a 21 lap race. You're screwed. You know, you got a full lap that you're at a track like this where it's 2 minutes to get around the track. You're not going to have enough fuel to get around there. So I always err on the side of caution and take just a little bit more than needed. You know, maybe not a full lap's worth, but you know, at least a half's lap worth. So that way, if I need to save a little bit, I have plenty of time to kind of take a look at that and do my saving. But if you're trying to cut it on the edge just to try and save some time, it could pay off, or you could be looking, you know, from the first back to a 12th, because you're not making it back on fuel.
I'm sure James is saving here a little bit, being in the draft just a little bit, you know, and I don't know if he's pushing hard, you know. I mean, obviously he's fast. I mean, he's on the pole and was fastest in practice. So, I mean, is James just riding right now? Is he just trying to put some kind of there? Yeah, it was.
A little bit of a fake move there by Jancic. I like it. I like it. Little gamesmanship right there, but is that going to cost him there? It looked like he was a little slow coming out of the final corner, but no, he's going to hold on to the lead for the time being. I think, yeah, I think Scioli is just kind of playing games right now. I think he's maybe just a little bit faster than Jancic, but he's just kind of hanging it right in line. Well, they're about to catch the 20 of Farron here, possibly up through the mountain this time, and that's where things can get treacherous. When the leader catches the back of the pack, it can be really sketchy going through the mountain, because again, you would think you're going slower, so you're safer. But that's not, at least for me, that's not the case at all. Because now all of a sudden, all those corners that you were taking at full speed or 90% speed, you're taking at 60, and it throws the balance of the car completely off from what you're used to, and that's where mistakes can happen very easily. You're not used to it. You're used to running those corners a certain way, and that's it. You don't go up through and you're not practicing running at half throttle because you're behind a lap car.
It looks like they may catch him before they get off the mountain here.
Coming down through the S's right now and into the dipper. They'll catch him possibly just before Force Elbow here, but I'm sure they'll just kind of hang it right in behind. And yeah, this is music to Jansik's ears here that they didn't catch him, but that was a little sketchy right there. And
oh, there's James. He's right on him.
Jansik doing everything he can to keep Scioli back right now. Looks like Scioli is fine, just pushing the Ferrari down the straightaway here, but now looks to the outside. This is going to be a little tight coming through down into the chase, but Scioli's going to have the inside. Jansen hangs it out on the outside. What a defense there from the 3.
Whoa.
And both guys, a little gamesmanship right there. Who's going to go into the pits first? Not me. How about you? No, not me either. What a battle going on right now. Looks like Tim Ponzi does make a left-hand turn, so he's going to give up 3rd place and go into pit lane. Silviano Madrigal is going to stay out there. Marco Chacon coming into the pits as well. So pit stops starting to be underway. Most of the amateur class has taken to pit road. Randy Ayers is still out there. Ortiz Torres and Jason Potts have yet to make a pit stop as well. But the top 8 right now in the pro class have yet to come into the pits. But this is getting interesting here at the front. And I mean, I don't like just staying on on 1 or 2 cars the entire race. I like to try and jump around a little bit, give everybody a little bit of airtime, but it's kind of hard to lead these guys right now.
Yeah, when they're doing stuff like that, and Craig holding him off there on that, I can't believe he held that outside like that. That was, I thought for sure James was going to have him on that inside there.
Yeah, it broke a little bit later, and somehow he got the car turned. I don't know how he got it turned and kept it off the grass there, but going on him, and it's maybe woken him up here a little bit. Stretches out the lead just a little bit here, going through the mountain, up over 0.5 of a second, this time over 6 now. And again, I think if I'm Craig, as it gets a little bit rougher of an exit coming out of Force Elbow, and it's going to allow Scioli to draft back up again. I feel like, again, if I'm Craig, I want to be the first one in the pits. I don't want to have Scioli have that free air, but I mean, looking at where he's going to come out of the pits, he's going to be marred in some traffic back there as well. So it's kind of tough. I mean, if you stay out there, there's a good chance that when you come back out, you'll be better off. You'll be in that free air. But there we go. Second place, Scioli going to come into pit lane. So now can Jansik keep it out there? Probably come in next lap by and regain or keep the lead, I should say. Scioli's in. We'll take a look back here. Madrigal is going to stay out for another lap. Carrillo going to stay out. Peter Moeller right behind him there. And that is going to be your top 4. Salvador Duran is going to give up the top 5 position coming into the pits. Looks like Gregory Meismer is going to stay out. Frank Pisano right behind him. He is going to stay out as well.
So Gregory in the lone Merc, it looks like. Merc's I've been getting too much love here.
No, not at all. And this is if there's ever a car that's a little rough here, it could be the Mercedes. The Mercedes can be a little tough. It's a little bit bowier of a car, so getting through the mountain fast can be a little tough in the Mercedes. It's going to carry a lot more speed down those straightaways, but you can be sacrificing for half the track to get there. Randy Ayers still out there, and he is the lone man in the M class that has yet to come into the pits here. And I think his thinking on that is he wants to come in and get back out there and get right back in the same position and have as much free air as possible. It's working out for him so far. Seamer still in second, Pittman in third, as those guys have made their pit stops. The eyes are going to be on the 3 team. See if he comes in this time by, I would assume. Probably so, as we're getting close to 30 minutes into this race already about to complete minute number 28 here. And this race is getting into the waning, I can't say hours, but the waning minutes here. And he is coming in. I'm not sure if that is allowed there. If that's a penalty, I'm not sure. I've never crossed the yellow tabs there. So we'll see what happens there for the 3 of Jancic. Willow and Moeller going to be pitting right behind. We'll see if Meismer comes in this time as well, blinking a little bit, but yeah, he is going to bring the 75 into the pits. Frank Pisano going to come in as well. So James Scioli now coming through with the final corner. Where is the 3 of Jancic? Still getting serviced, and
there he goes.
Going to be very close on the exit. Right there is Scioli, and going to be a drag race down to turn number 2, but Scioli has a little bit more speed coming out, and you want to know what short pit means? That's what it means right there. He comes in 1 lap earlier, but Jancic now going to try and sit on the outside. He's got colder tires. Not going to be able to get it done right there. He's going to have to follow through the mountain right now. Can he stay with Scioli and pass once they get out of the mountain? What a battle by these guys right here. Randy Ayers now coming into the pits, and John Seamer is gonna make that pass. The short pit working for the AM class as well. New leader here in the AM class. John Seamer finally doesn't have well, not a lap car, but a pro car in between him and Ayers. He doesn't have anybody in between him because he is now the leader, and he's got Ayers behind him right now. So big turn of events for both classes. Jancic staying right with Scioli, not letting him get away at all. We'll see if he can use the draft here. Man, who would have thought? As little bobbing and weaving, trying to break the draft there is Scioli. But it looks like he's actually losing time doing that.
Yeah, now the roles are reversed, and let's see what... now James has to hold him off. James has to be defensive, and Craig's going to be on the attack here. And you got to kind of drive a little bit differently here, so... These last, we got 8 minutes or so. It's gonna be another good one, Carl.
Well, while we're watching this battle, it's about time to crank these guys. I mean, I've been fired up, and I'm sure you have too. But it's about time to crank these guys up, turn our mics off, give everyone out there a little CSRL. Love to hear it. unbelievable battle here for P1 here overall and in the Pro class between Scioli and Jancic. As they are leaving the rest of the field behind them pretty well. You'll see in the background Tim Ponzi now coming around turn number 1. That's the distance back to 3rd place right now. So it is a two-man battle here for the win with the last 4 minutes to go here in the race. Seamer in the amateur class has run away from Ayers by a good margin, out there now to 4 seconds. Just took some time to finally get the pass done and use some pit strategy to get it done. But he has since checked out here a bit, run some good, consistent, solid laps. We'll see if Ayers can run him down a little bit, but that is the fastest lap of the race here in the M class, 2:05.52 for John Seamer that time by. So certainly turning up the heat on the rest of the class. Top 5 for the M class: Seamer, Ayers, Pittman, Brandon Potts, and Jason Potts. And then over in the Pro class, TBD for 1st and 2nd, but as of right now, Scioli, Jancic, Ponzi, Madrigal, and Chacon, your top 5.
We're talking Jancic. They're just putting on a clinic here, and I mean, they got 9 seconds now over Ponzi in 3rd, and looks like Scioli is starting to expand that lead just a little bit. I don't know if Craig's tires are too hot, too worn, or if he's just sitting back and letting them cool off for one last push, or what's going on here.
Well, Jancic had a little bit of a bobble there coming out of Forest Elbow, but like there, the lap car plays a big part, and a little bump there to Scioli, but Scioli not going to give up just yet. Sends it deep into the last corner, and Jancic spins around and backs into Scioli. They'll get back going. Looks like Scioli being a gentleman and actually letting him get back going and battling. But these guys have forgot about 3rd place. Tim Ponzi back in the mix, going for the lead, but Jancic takes it around the outside. Remember, we had 2 guys in this battle. We got 3 now, boys and girls. Ponzi is right in the middle. Oh, man. And oh, by the way, I don't think I got to check with Barney over here. I don't think these guys got the white flag, but given the little spin there at the end, I'm not sure if he had a chance to get the white flag out there in time. Ooh. These races come down to the end, man.
I know James didn't mean to do that, and he definitely didn't want that to happen to Craig. I mean, they were having an amazing battle, and what a display of sportsmanship on his hand to, hey, that's not the way I raced. That's not the way I wanted this to go down. So
no, exactly. He did the gentlemanly thing. He let him get back going, and even let him take back the lead. But oh no! Big mistake there by Scioli.
Hold on to her.
Slides it sideways, gets it stopped. He's going to lose some more positions. He's actually going to tow it. So this is down to a 2-car battle, and by the way, it is Tim Ponzi out front. In case you missed it here, we'll show you what happened here. Jancic gets a little wide through Skyline, and Ponzi says thank you very much. Makes the move on by. Now we look back live. They come down to Conrad Straight. This will be 2 to go. It'll be the white flag this time by Jancic, looking to try and figure out which way he wants to go here. He is going to go to the right. He's going to have the inside through the kink. Ponzi's going to have the inside for the S-turn. Going to brake a little bit later. Jancic goes for the switchback. Now he's got the inside line heading into Murray's corner. White flag will be in the air this time by. If you don't like road racing, I don't know what's wrong with you. I mean, this is absolutely crazy. White flag now in the air. 1 more to go here at Mount Panorama.
Man, Ponzi was 9 seconds back just 2 laps ago. Finds himself in the lead, and now he's back to 2nd and 1 lap to go. And I mean, you just gotta stay on your toes, man. You just never know what's gonna happen here.
Well, I mean, the top 5 is still not decided either.
No,
yes, Simeone Madrigal right there. Right behind him is Marcus Chacon, and he's going for the move right here. Right behind them, Michael Carrillo is looking as well as Chacon is going to make the pass, move himself into 3rd. But the top 5, really none of it decided quite yet. What a
Still gotta
finish
get to the
here.
mountain one more time.
Jancic leading the way so far as they head up through the mountain, but this is where he made a mistake last time. Let's see if he corrects the error and holds on to the lead. I mean, unbelievable battle between him and Scioli. Ponzi just probably cruising around third place thinking, okay, I will gladly just take a top 3, but finds himself now about a quarter second behind the leader on the last lap. Just needs to get through the mountain cleanly here, stay close to Jancic, and he'll give himself a chance heading down into the chase one last time. Madrigal went off at the top of the mountain. He's going to sacrifice, fall all the way back to 5th, and now he's going to try to hang on to 5th as Moeller's right there, but the leaders heading down Conrad Straight one last time. Jancic doing everything he can to break the draft coming down here. Might be just enough. Ponzi is within 0.3 of a second. We'll see if he throws in one final move here. Heading into the chase. Late braking right up behind Jancic. Not going to get it done just yet, but he's got a bit of a run. He's got one more chance to get it done here. Will Jancic protect the inside? Doesn't look like he's going to. Ponzi throws a little bit of a fake, but getting the power down is Jancic. He is going to take the win here. What a run by the 3. Heck of a run there for the 46 of Ponzi as well. Marco Ciccone is going to come home in 3rd. Carrillo right behind him in 4th, and Moeller is going to get it done and grab the final 5th place position. We'll show you where that happened right here. As Madrigal a little bit slow going down the Conrad Straight. You see a little damage to the 15. That's where Moeller got by.
Yeah, something happened to Sidney. He was third on that, taking the white flag, and he just didn't have enough fuel or what, but he just had a not the best last lap he wanted to have there.
Now he gave up the position to Ciccone before they got to turn number 2, and then had a little bit of an off at the top of the mountain there. But watching now John Seamer as he is going to cruise home. Just a couple more corners to go. He's got a nice lead over. Actually, he doesn't. We were still on a replay there. Seamer did already cross the line. Ayers in 2nd, and Pittman is going to come home in 3rd. Brandon Potts in 4th, and Jason Potts is going to come home in 5th place. Man, I got to catch my breath a little bit from that there.
Another storyline, Carl. It's just always something with these guys. I mean, they give us something, whether it's the beginning of the race, the 30th minute, the last 2 laps of this race. I mean, wow. I mean, what a great day for both your points leaders, too, both coming in 3rd. I mean, survive was, you know, what these guys were talking about, and both your points leaders here were able to survive this race and come on the way with the podium. But, wow, what a finish. Again, these guys continue to put on shows here.
Yeah, it's all they've been doing, and this is through 5 races now, and they still got 1 more to go. This is certainly going to shake up the points quite a bit here. Again, Ciccone was able to come home in 3rd, and that was very big to possibly hold on to the point standings lead. But it's going to be very interesting going to Dakota for the last race of the year. Our last race of this season.
But a win here by Craig is huge. I mean, even though he's only going to gain a little bit on Ciccone, but hey, that's a little bit that he didn't have, and as long as he has a chance next week, I think you know, I mean, he's a defending champion for a reason. So see if he can.
Yeah, I mean, he came in only 13 points behind Ciccone, and not going to lose any points. He's going to gain points on Ciccone here, and it's what he needs to do. Pisano and Moeller didn't quite do as good as Pisano finished. Trying to see here. Yeah, looked like he finished back in 10th.
Moeller 5th.
So did not get ahead of Ciccone here for the end, as Moeller had a slight chance. He was in the mix there, but just not getting it done. But unbelievable race by these guys one more time, and I'm already ready for next Wednesday, let alone the next season here. But gotta recap this thing, but while we're doing that, I mean, final thoughts here on just another fantastic race by these guys at CSRL here at Mount Panorama.
Well, it was, we knew it was going to be exciting. It was kind of calm there for the middle part of the race, and then, the excitement got turned up real quick with James Scioli and Craig Jancic having their little run into there, and then Tim Ponzi just coming 9 seconds back to say, hey, let me get in here for a second and see what I can do. And then we were just scrambling and just trying to figure everything out. And I mean, what a great finish from these guys. And the mountain did not disappoint, that's for sure.
No, it absolutely didn't. And I mean, some of the guys had some issues, and some of the guys, threw some good finishes away here. But all in all, I think this was a fantastic race. I mean, this many cars out here to get through as much as they did, this was a heck of a race from everybody. I mean, not that many issues altogether. I mean, a couple guys scraping the walls here and there, but I mean, we didn't really have a big one. We didn't have anybody.
No, yeah, I was just going to say we didn't have a traffic jam up on top of the mountain where guys were at Austin Powers in it trying to. We had a couple guys do that, but there was a no 10-car pileup. So I'm sure everybody is glad to see that and happy that did not happen.
All right, still looking to try and get some of these guys in here, but it looks like we do have one of them. So you just go ahead and put it back here. Couple laps, and bring in our first man as there we go. So third place here in the AM class is going to be Garrett Pittman, driver of the number 7. Joe, why don't you go ahead and take our third place finisher here? Hey
there, Garrett. You got a copy?
Yes, I do. How's it going, boys?
Oh, it's going pretty good. An exciting finish at the top there for the pro level guys. But talk us through your race. I know you come in as a points leader. You probably just wanted to kind of survive and able to come away with a third place finish.
Yeah, so the game plan this week was just don't introduce myself to the barriers, just keep the car in one piece and try to pick up a few places off of other people's mistakes. Surprisingly, from my point of view at least, a lot cleaner than I expected, especially lap 1, so good job, boys. But
it's not disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping to get a couple more spots, but, but yeah, other than that, it was just keep it clean, see what I could get, so definitely happy to bring a podium back and hopefully, keep a decent gap going into the last race.
Yeah, it seems like you should be able to do that. I mean, the points, you had a pretty decent lead here coming into this race and be able to come away with a third. That should not all but lock it, but I mean, just maybe another top 5 next week, and it should be all yours. So let's talk about next week. We're going to COTA. How is that going to be for you?
So COTA, I don't have much driving experience on, so that is one I will have to get a little more familiar with over the week. But I mean, with the event this weekend, I don't know. I'm going to have to try to find some time. Might just be another race of survival, and like you said, try to
just bring it home in one piece.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're doing the 12-hour?
Yeah, we're going to give it a go. See how it goes for us at XPM.
So you got a little bit of practicing here tonight, so that'll help for you. Anybody you want to give a shout out to on that 7?
The team XPM for helping me out, always keeping me ready for these races, and you guys and the league for showing up every week. Love talking to you guys week after week.
Yeah, well, we love putting this broadcast on. You guys, like I told Carl, it's something every race, and you guys put on a show. I mean, throughout the field and at the front between the pros or at the front of the amateur class here. I mean, you guys just continue to put on shows for us.
All right, that is the third place finisher here in the AM class, the 7 of Garrett Pittman. Now bring in second place, and that is going to be the 66 of Randy Ayers. And Randy, you had a heck of a good start to the race. You were exactly where you need to be, and it seemed like no matter what you did, you had a pro class driver in between you and John for the first half of that race, and it seemed like it was just frustrating John to no end. But unfortunately, it looks like the pit strategy ended up playing into John's favor, and you were never able to kind of reel him back in that second half of the race.
Yeah, I did not. I had Dan behind me the first part of the race, and then Jim the second part, and I managed to keep him behind me, and But I currently had a really bad in lap, and I think that's where the difference was. I think I had like a high 207 in lap, and he probably ran like a 205, and that just killed me. So.
Yeah, you were able to. I mean, you were keeping the lead, to right about like a second, up to a second and a half at some points. But again, you had the nice little buffer with the pro car in between. I mean, was obviously you had enough speed to keep the whichever pro car was behind you. But was that kind of in your mind, like, let me try and keep this buffer in between so he can't get right behind me?
It was. I always like to keep as much of a buffer as I can on anybody. And, I was concentrating on getting off of Hell's Corner for that straight and getting off Forest Bend for that straight. Because I knew I wasn't super strong, up in the mountains. So I just wanted to hang in there up there, not give up too much time, and then concentrate on my exits so I had not a lot of speed down the straight. It had been hard to pass that way, so it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, speaking of the exit, you come out of the pits and you see John going right by you at that time. You were able to kind of hang with him a little bit, and then all of a sudden he stretched out to a decent sized lead. But you were chipping in little by little at the end. Do you feel like you maybe had a fast enough car to catch him if you had some more time, or are you just happy to come home with second place here?
I'm happy to come home with anything on the podium, to be honest with you. He got out in front, and I couldn't. I was watching his lap times and my lap times, and I think he might have got maybe behind a car or something. I'm not sure. Little mistake here and there. Anyway, we were really even, and all of a sudden he was running 205s, and I couldn't match it. So at that point, I just said, you know what? Let's just finish. We're going to finish and move on to the next race.
Well, it worked out nice. You got a second place here tonight and a good run. And again, it's another track where finishing the race is an accomplishment, let alone grabbing a podium here. So congrats on the podium. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Hey, everyone that puts us together, once again, everyone at the Casual Sim Racers League, you guys for broadcasting this, my girlfriend for putting up with me and allowing me to run her company on my car. So that's cool. My cat stayed out of my way this time. My little pit crew didn't bother me. So, it's all good.
So you didn't have a spotter, so that would explain the slow end lap. Okay, all right. There we go. Now you know for next time.
Well, at least you didn't walk across my UPS and disconnect everything again.
All right, well, congrats on the second place here. We'll let you go celebrate, and we can blame the cat next week.
Thanks, you guys.
All right, that is your second place finisher here in the M class, the 66 of Randy Ayers. Now, finally, we'll bring in the winner here in the M class, and that is going to be the 12 of John Seamer.
Hey, John, it's Joe up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, yeah, here. Sorry, I feel like we're in mid-conversation every time we get pulled in, but how you guys doing?
Oh, pretty good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I think this is the first race all season. I haven't, done something stupid to myself. So I feel like, this was, I felt pretty good.
I'm trying to remember, is this your first podium?
Yeah, I think my first win, definitely, right?
Okay, I thought you had a podium before, but I wasn't for sure.
Yep.
So you got your first win here. And you're going to be putting on, just looking at the points, you're going to put a little pressure on Garrett for next week.
Yeah, that's the hope. I was like trying to stay in it. But again, I think this is the one race I was patient with myself because I'd never driven here before at all. I had to even buy the track. I'd never been here. So I think I spent a lot more time this week, preparing. And clearly, I was able to be patient enough to let it all pay off.
Well, that is even more impressive to just got the track this week and be able to come away with a win. That says something.
For sure. Yeah, definitely unexpected.
Yeah. So, give me a key of how to get around here.
Well, I think probably the key is, like everyone else probably said, is stay out of the walls. With patience, right? I think some of the corners just come to you, and so you can easily overdrive a lot of the track, especially in the downhill sections. So just keep patient there, and then I think everything else that's not on top of the hill is arrive and drive. So yeah, pretty straightforward from there.
Did you try a couple different cars, or did you just get in this one and felt comfortable right away?
Yeah, I think I'd been driving the Ferrari all year. I feel like I, wanted to try something different. So I spent probably a some time, definitely trying out the cars out. And I was like, well, I don't know. I didn't feel comfortable. And then I got back in the Ferrari. I was like, oh, wow, this is super easy to get the speed with. And then I realized everyone else was driving it too. So I was like, all right, well, at least I picked the right one this race.
You got some teammates to help you out with that, or are you just kind of on your own with that?
No, I mean, this is the first sim league I've ever done. This is my first foray into this. This is probably the coolest thing I've ever done. In racing and online. So for me, this is all new, which is super fun.
Yeah, so and it's broadcasted, so you got to show everybody. You got to send this link to everybody and show them your win.
I know. I keep showing my coworkers, and people are like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "This is, I guess, happening." It's I don't know. It's super. Really, for me, it's awesome. You guys do a amazing job, and it's a really great production for what I feel is just all us just trying to do our best here. So
yeah, it's I talk about it during the broadcast. It's so fun just to go back and watch it, or in this situation where you got to win. You got your first win of the season, first win in this league. I guess your first win in a league race, right? So yeah. And now this is going to be out there forever, and you can go back and watch it, say in the next season or in the upcoming seasons where, if we come back and race here, you can go back and watch this race and see how it went and everything. So that's why I think just if you have the ability to get a broadcasted league, it's so important, and just for so many different other reasons. And that's just one of the many reasons that I like about it. And
oh my God, yeah, it's awesome. And I never used to save the races because I turned that off.
Yeah,
I was always doing stupid lobbies. But now, because of last race when I got punted, I was like, all right, I got to save these things. I got to yell at the person in my head about who stayed away from. You got to be mindful. Because there's things happening out there that you're not watching, and if the people are still everyone stays in it and stays in the league, these are what people are doing, and then clearly you're competing against people like Garrett and Randall all the time. So it's all right, you see what they're doing, if you want to get that deep into it. It's just, I don't know, I think it makes us feel more like real racing. Obviously we can all be out there. So
yeah. Well, congrats on the win. Going to COTA next week. Just go for the glory there, or what? What's the process for next week?
Yeah, I think don't bin it, right, and don't underfuel yourself, right, which I did last race, underfueled, and showed up in the pits in the last lap. So just I think don't do anything stupid, and the rest of it's just gonna be what it is. So just control my own race.
Right on. Well, congrats on the win, and we will see you out there next week. Anybody want to give a shout out to?
My wife, my coworkers, for watching when they do. And my wife for letting me sit here and do this while, doing whatever else. But and you guys are great. So thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate that, and we'll see you next week.
For sure. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That is your winner here in the AM class, the 12 of John Seamer, and now we will get over to our pro class, and it seemed like it just wasn't going to be decided until the very end here. But the 11 of Marco Chacon does bring it home into third, and Marco, kind of a ho-hum race for you. Not too much, kind of going on, and it kind of seemed a little bit tough to pass for most of the race. But you find yourself there in a three-way battle coming to the end of the race, and you come away with a third place. So talk us through the race here. What was the mindset going through the race here? Were you trying to find a way to get into the podium? Or were you just kind of riding along for a while?
Hey, how you doing, guys? Look at me today. Yeah, well, the quali was not pretty good for me. I lost my first lap, and I only had one. So basically, I did whatever I can. So I started at 7, and I know that I had some extra points in the championship, so at the beginning I said okay, let's just wait. It's a 40 minutes race. We are not going to win this in the first lap, and for sure this is a track in which anybody can commit a mistake, and a mistake is it basically loads the race. So yeah, I think that was a kind of flawless race for me. No incidents. Thanks God for that. But yeah, a couple laps before the end, I almost killed myself, but at the end, all was good.
Yeah, I think even before that, I think the chance of killing yourself is what you talked about in qualifying. We were looking at the qualifying times, and we noticed that you didn't have a time up there, and it was getting to the final minute, and we kind of hopped on board with you for the last couple corners, and seeing that you were able to put a time up there to get into 7th. I mean, how nervous were you on that second qualifying lap, knowing that if you didn't put a lap in there, you're starting 17th?
Yeah, at the end was like, man, fuck, I screw up this. But I thought that it has like 8 minutes to put a time, but at the end was 10. So at the end, I have enough time, like with 1 extra minute to complete a quali lap. So yeah, I try to do it as quick as I can and don't like over risk the lap, because it's like only one, and start from the last one in the race is going to be like a mess for this race, because of it's so hard to pass here. And yeah, and as I mentioned, I was so lucky today. I'm fighting the championship against Pisano right now, and he killed himself with another guy in turn 1 in, I don't know, lap 10 or something like that. And yeah, I mean, it was very lucky for me.
Yeah, that certainly helped you out championship-wise. I mean, you guys were extremely tight coming into the race here. I mean, you had only 20 points between you all the way down to 7th place. So really, really tight battle between everybody. So coming home with a top 3 here was certainly big heading into the last race, especially considering Pisano and Moeller were behind you in the final results. But all in all, I mean, a top 3 here at Bathurst, no matter where you start, no matter what happens in the race, it's got to feel just relieving, and you got to be happy with it.
Yeah, for sure. At the end, I was able to get into the podium and some important points into the championship.
Well, good job here on the podium. Great job making your way through the field there. Luckily, it was only from 7th and not 17th. But before we let you go, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Yeah, for sure to my teammates in T-Recon Racing. In fact, I have a teammate racing here, which is Viviani. And yeah, thank you for being a good teammate. And yeah, thank you. And also for all the organization to do this championship. And yeah, that's it.
All right, well, congrats again on the podium. We'll see you next week at COTA, see if you can get home the championship.
Hopefully, a tough one, but yeah, that's practical a lot for the next week.
Absolutely. All right, Marco, we'll let you go celebrate the podium.
Yeah, thank you.
That is your 3rd place finisher here in the pro class, the 11 of Marco Chacon. 2nd place, we talked to him before the race. Joe, why don't you go ahead and talk to him after the race, the 2nd place finisher here, the 46 of Tim Ponzi.
Well, hey there, Tim. Did you think you had a shot at the win there with like 2 to go?
Oh, I was really hoping. I was keeping an eye on my relatives, and I'm like, oh, it looks like James is pulling a little bit on him. I'm like, oh, well, there goes my shot. And I was just running my lonely little race, and then I heard crew chief, and then I come around the corner. I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, they had like 9 seconds on you, and they were putting on a show there for us, and then they kind of got into each other, and next thing you know, there you come, just storming off the final turn, and we're gonna make a 3-man race out of this. And then you got the lead there, and Craig was able to get around you there. Did you just have something for you? You couldn't keep up with them?
I just didn't have any. And those guys were so fast around here, man. I had a good pace, it just wasn't that pace, and I was consistent. Which that's just what I strive to be all the time, is just be consistent, and just sitting there by myself hoping to hear from crew chief that something up ahead happened, and sure enough, there it went.
Yeah, you had 3rd lockdown over the rest of the field there, and those 2 guys were gone, but had a chance there at it and able to come away with a 2nd place finish. Last week, you're up there in points, so. You probably don't got a shot at the championship, but it's still going to be a good finish here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had a bad race at Atlanta. I was doing really good. It dropped me to 3rd, and then, family came into town, and life happens. And, unfortunately, I don't get paid to do this. So if I could, then maybe I would have been able to squeak it. But But yeah, but it's good to be back. It's good to race with these guys. It's a great group of guys. Like I got up there with Craig, and that was a lot of fun battling. He ran a hell of a lap with that beat up car, because I didn't think he was going to get it around, but he did. He did a good job, and it was clean. And I'm happy with a second. What can I say? It was fun.
Go ahead and Dakota next week. You excited for that one?
Not really. Nah, not a big Coda fan. But hey, well, maybe something will click this time around, and I'll figure it out. I doubt it, but we'll give it a shot anyway.
The sun will be out probably this time.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Yeah.
Well, I always try to take away learning something, whether it's a good race or a bad race. I always try to find something to learn something, so I'm faster for the next time. So maybe it may not happen in your last race, so maybe you can find something here in this race and use that for the future races. So anybody want to give a shout out?
Well, this was the wife, the family, you guys for putting this on, CSRL for doing this. 4D, I wasn't flying his sponsorship tonight because I was running the core logo, because we're getting ready for Bathurst, but thanks to them for putting this on as well. And looking forward to the finale next week.
And looking forward to 12 hours around this place?
Not really. No, I got the last 3 stints at 3 o'clock in the morning, so it'll a lot of Red Bulls or coffee, one or the other.
40 minutes was exciting. I can imagine how 12 hours is going to go for you guys. So good luck in that, and good luck next week, and hopefully we'll be talking to you.
All right, guys, you have a good one.
We'll see you, Tim.
That is your second place finisher here in the pro class, the 46 of Tim Ponzi. Finally, we will bring in our winner here tonight, the 3 of Craig Jancic. And Craig, nothing too special here tonight, just a kind of a easy race here for you, easy win tonight. How do you think it went in your eyes?
Oh yeah, it was just nothing to talk about. It was just a journey through the down under forest. I don't know what else to say about that. No, I'll start there actually. Huge kudos and respect to James for attempting to wait for me after the unfortunate contact there, and then let's go one step back and say the timing of that traffic was so unfortunate for him. Obviously fortunate for me, and I don't want to pity on my own party and say that it sucks that it happened, because we ended up on top of it, but I didn't realize he was waiting for me when I was spinning, and I knew that where I was gonna stop if I just stood on the brake pedal was going to require me to do a K-turn, and I knew Ponzi was coming. So I was like, well, dang, let me just roll it back all the way, and I'll be able to turn around without having to do a K-turn. And boy, James was still back there, and I backed into him. I destroyed my rear wing, knocked my tire out of camber, and knocked his entire suspension cattywampus. And I mean, I don't know. You can't strip this kind of stuff in CSRL, at least. And then we just did 2 laps of counter steering through every single corner, because of course we had to do that. And we somehow managed to overtake Ponzi at some point. I honestly think I blacked out there just because I was so hell bent on not losing that after all the effort we put in here tonight. And we ended up making actually a really, really clean pass, and it was a really, really, as you said, completely uneventful Panorama 40-minute race.
Yeah, really, it was boring up here. We were just about falling asleep up here, but
I know that.
So take us back to halfway in the race. You guys were nose to tail. You led from the beginning, but a little gamesmanship going back and forth, entering and not entering pit road there. So take us through that and kind of what the mindset was, what you were thinking, if you were thinking that you wanted to try and get in before him, if you were waiting until he went in, then you're coming in next lap. Like, what was the whole game plan there?
I wanted one of 2 things to happen. I wanted traffic to hit at a point where I could tell that I was catching some of the traffic at like a 2 to 3 second a lap pace, what was going to be lap traffic. So when I saw them coming up on the relative of like 11 seconds back, I started baiting him a little bit, just trying to see, if he would just have a momentary lapse, like coincidentally check his pit stop data, if it was going to be correct for his pit stop when he saw me cut towards pit lane, and then by the time he looks up, he's already committed to pit lane, and I'd have kind of a free and a lot more free time on track without any pressure. That was plan A. Then the traffic never worked out. Plan B was, okay, I'm just going to keep baiting him, and I'm going to run it out because I know that the last 3 laps of the stint, at least with the Ferrari, are going to theoretically be the fastest laps that you can put down. So I just started baiting him, and then once the traffic thing wasn't panning out, I was like, well, screw it, I'm just going to run it out at this point. I know that the right thing to do in the current iRacing model is to do the undercut like he did. And I mean, hell, it quite nearly worked. So for that, I feel a little extra bad for him too. But at the same time, you know, we're going to give him hell. I mean, we gave him hell, and we we had it work out by some grace of God and traffic and defending. And this is a great race. I don't even think I could joke about it anymore. This was edge of your teeth, edge of your seat, biting your teeth type of stuff, even in the car.
I can't believe you held him off on that one defend. Like right before the pit stops happened, you were able to hold him off there as he made a late charge there and coming down the mountain there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think the Porsche was really good coming out of, I don't know the names of the stuff, the tire the corner that's got Falcon tire all over it.
Yeah.
He was getting such a charge out of there, and I was terrified every single time. But then I got behind him that one time, and I realized that I also got a tear out of it. So I don't know. There must just be such a strong draft, because I don't know any other track in the world where you could be 3/10 down to start a straightaway and side by side going into it. Maybe the Nordschleife, but that's a different story. There was something to being able to make a move down there after the Conrad Straight. I do know the name of that one, and there's something to be said about making a move down there for sure.
So it took to race 5 here as the defending champion to get your win, but I mean, you made it special. It was one heck of an epic battle here. I mean, between pit stop, tomfoolery, I guess we'll call it that.
There you go. Yeah, I like that. I had a different word in mind, but I hear
exactly. I'm like, how do I keep this clean?
Right.
I mean, and you come out of the pits, you're right there. He's right there. You're able to stick with him. It seemed like in the beginning he was maybe just kind of baiting you a little bit. That maybe he had a little bit more speed than you, but he was just content hanging by you, maybe fuel saving a little bit. So when he got you on the undercut, I'm like, all right, this is the time where James is gonna maybe check out here a little bit. But you did not let him go, and you stuck with him, and that's what it gave you the opportunity once the lap cars came into play. So you had to be there still with him to be able to capitalize, and you were there. So either way, I mean, regardless of everything that happened there at the end, and the waiting and the damage in the cars, you got it done, and it's got to feel good to finally get that first win of the season.
It does, yeah. I mean, we've had some absolutely atrocious luck. Last week at Okayama, we put one tire about 3 inches over the unsafe pit entry line, and we sure got penalized for that. We threw away a 2nd place and turned that into a 13th. What else did we do this season? We got ourselves into some incidents at various times. Road Atlanta, yes, qualify 2nd, be set up for success there, and then get absolutely junked on the first lap. We've had the adversity, we've had the speed though, and as a perpetual optimist in this world, I know every week I show up with a good pace, and that's enough to give me some good confidence, good momentum to roll forward here to COTA next week. I don't think, barring a disaster for Marco, I don't think we're going to have a championship shot, and that's okay. This is actually only my 2nd season with these guys. I won the championship as a rookie with them last season. So we still have a lot of people to get familiar with, and we still have a lot of tracks to get familiar with in the very same tune. We happen to have, this season was pretty familiar for me, minus Okayama last week. So I think we'll bring good pace to COTA. I just have to unlearn how to drive it in a stock car and learn how to drive it with one of these gripped up GT3s.
Well, yeah, exactly. You actually have grip as opposed to a stock car. But I mean, you come into this race 13 points down. You were able to beat Marco by 2 positions at least. So, I mean, you never know.
True.
There's been some pretty stacked fields out here. You know, Marco makes one little mistake, and you know he finishes 10th, and you're up there towards the top, towards the podium, and you get it done. So, as bad as this season has been for you, and the trials and tribulations, you still got a shot going into the last one, and
still a chance.
That's all that you can ask for at the end of the day. So, congrats on the win here, and finally getting it done, and certainly not an easy way. So I'll let you catch your breath, but before you do, anybody you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Yeah, I'll start right here with you guys. Core Racing Network, I had candidly no familiarity with you guys before starting this venture with CSRL with you guys. Y'all are amazing. Keep it up. These Wednesday broadcasts are amazing. My truck league I'm going to be a part-timer in just got picked up for Saturday night, the NIS Truck League. And I'm really thankful for all that because you guys really have a good thing going here. And I really appreciate your effort, and yourself, Carl, Joe, you guys are amazing, and Dylan on Saturday. He had his technical difficulties that were software related, not Dylan related, but he was doing amazing. Good stuff there. I'll thank my guys here at CSRL for showing up 28 strong on a week where we thought it was going to be a really thin field. 28 people, can't ask for much more than that. So thanks to the field here. And the people that support me individually, Martin PC, Digital Sim Sports, Free Beer and Hot Wings Morning Show, Team Conti Sim Performance, and all the viewers out there tonight of Core, and everybody that watches me do my passion behind the scenes is a big fan to me. So thank you, and thank you.
Well, we appreciate the kind words, and it's been, I think, a long time coming to get you back here into victory lane as the defending champion here. But we'll see if you can double up now, get it done at Coda, and see if you can take a run here at Marco for the championship. But for the meantime, take a breath, get a drink, celebrate this win. Take a nap. I know it's going to be probably a little bit of adrenaline going on here for quite some time. But congrats again on the win, and we'll talk to you next week possibly.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a good night.
That is your winner here in the pro class, the 3 of Craig Jancic. And Joe, what do we do for an encore? I mean, like, this has just been, it's been something new every week. And this was an absolute epic finish to the race here. But I mean, really the entire race, we had battles going on throughout the field. And as you said, there's drama, there's storylines, there's all kinds of stuff going on all the time. And it's been a blast here. And we only got one more race in the season to cap this thing off, but I'm sure these guys aren't going to disappoint at Coda.
No, not at all. And it's going to be, I think it's probably going to be the fastest race of the season. I mean, they're all 40 minutes, but there's going to be so much to talk about. You got 2 championship battles on the line. You got 2 race wins on the line. I mean, so much to get through, and at a very difficult track for these guys. And I cannot wait. I mean, I get such an adrenaline rush after these races. I don't know if it's just for the broadcasting part of it or just the way that, you know, the show that these guys put on. But, man, I'm probably more gassed up right now than Craig is, and he just won the dang race. So these guys just do something to get your blood pressure up and get your excitement level up. So thank you for the kind words from Craig. Like, we appreciate that. Like, that makes me feel even better, like, to be able to hear that from somebody and, you know that we're putting on a good show for everybody. And I can't stress this enough. Share this as much as you can, because that was a heck of a show that these guys put on.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, thanks to the sponsor with Jim Huracan 4D Racewear for helping these guys out and putting it on. I mean, it's been a blast this entire season. So without Jim, this may this little bit of a marriage may not have ever happened here. So thank you to Jim and all the guys over at CSRL that have made this series just absolutely epic for us up here in the booth, and certainly for the drivers out there, and hopefully for you fans out there. Again, if you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe, help these guys out, and yeah, like Joe said, share the heck out of these videos for them and get their name out there. They deserve it. It's been great battles and great races all year, and you know, you hit that like and subscribe. It gets you into everything that CRN has to offer. Doesn't cost you anything, but helps us out and helps all these series that we broadcast out there as well, just to get their shows out there. It's been fun. I've had a blast. It sucks that there's only one more race here left in the season, but like I said, season 8 is on the horizon, and by the sounds of it, we will be on tap for that one as well. So already looking forward to that one. Thank you for everybody joining in here tonight for another great race here at CSRL here at the mountain. But for myself and Joe at Mount Panorama, we'll see you at the track.